All right, if you're a woman and you've struggled to rest, if you override your body's signals, if you constantly find yourself comparing yourself to others, if you're fixated on your weight, on your age, or you're just struggling with aging itself, there is a reason for this. And it's not a personal flaw. Today, I'm going to unpack the difference between healthy feminine energy and distorted feminine energies, and why it's inevitable in this day and age that you would have some of the distorted. It's impossible to get away from, but why you don't need to stay here. This is so key to women's health. We spend so much time talking about hormones, about stress, about diet, about sleep, all really important. But if we don't touch on this topic, we are missing the point. We're missing the link. And this link for thriving women's health through all stages of life, but particularly midlife and menopause, is pleasure, ease, and our ability to receive. And if that feels really weird to you, listen on. So, we're not talking the quick fixes like pleasure, like a glass of wine or a piece of chocolate, but the deeper kind, the deeper type of these are the divine feminine qualities of ease, of rest, of spaciousness, of feeling like you are enough in your own skin, actually liking yourself versus being so damn hard on yourself. And I'm pretty sure you are one of those people because I have yet to meet a woman that doesn't feel like she's not enough in some way. Often it's like, I'm too much, but I'm not enough at the same time. And this is part of this distorted feminine energy that has been a part of our world and our DNA for a long, long time. And the truth is, many of us resist this pleasure and find it really hard to receive, very good at giving, just not so good at receiving ourselves because it can feel really, really uncomfortable. And so then we can turn to sabotage, we can revolt, we can override it because it feels really unsafe or unfamiliar. And we've been conditioned for survival. I just want to say this is a survival technique that has been passed on for generations to override our need for rest, for ease, for joy, and just to keep on pushing through. And we have often lived in both the distorted feminine, but also in the distorted masculine as well. And this is not against, men versus women or anything close to that. Men have both masculine and feminine energies. Women do as well. And we'll talk mostly about the feminine energies today. But in my 30 years of practicing Eastern medicine, I have a lot of training in nervous system resetting, divine masculine and feminine training, sacred womb work. I really call it the science and the soul of being a woman, and working with thousands of women and being a modern woman myself. I see this over and over and over again, that inability to receive pleasure, that we deny it. We keep pushing ourselves at the cost of our health, of our happiness, and a nervous system dysregulation. The only thing that we can receive, like we can only receive when our nervous system feels safe, when it's not gripping for survival. If we don't have a nervous system that feels safe, we will always default back to survival mode and what is familiar. This is what we don't talk about that much. The brain only knows three things. It knows fear, it knows past experiences. Can be our past experiences or our ancestors. And we have so much information that multiple generations, 7 generations at least in the past, is influencing how we respond to things today. And then the ego. So if you've had past experiences, if your ancestors have had situations where it's been unsafe to be a woman, to express authentically, to be visible, to take time to rest, to use intuition to be the thing that guides you, or to prioritize yourself or your pleasure, where receiving or resting or softening, they weren't safe, your system will shut down. And it's been like this for thousands of years. So I think every single woman watching this has some version of this. And it will shut down any way it can. It will do this using negative self-talk, dismissal, denial, like, wow, that's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. Disaster fantasies. I mean, how many of you are really, really creative at making up situations of what could possibly happen if you stood up and spoke out as yourself or took time to rest? Everything's going to fall apart. What's going to happen if you actually take the time for yourself? This is our creative brain to say, hey, let's just stay with what we know. We know this, it might be a little uncomfortable, but over there, we don't know what's going to happen. It could be really, really bad. So let's just stay here. And so our mind does this to keep us safe. And gosh, like our nervous systems, our brain, like it's amazing. It's learned to survive over thousands of years. But the problem is it's costing us so much today. And so I see woman after woman after woman struggling, particularly in Western culture. Women are having some of the worst perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms in the world. And that's maybe common, but it's not inevitable and it's not normal. So, what's going on? And this is where we're going to talk a little bit about the healthy versus distorted energies. So, healthy masculine, so in Chinese medicine, we'll talk about yin and yang, but we can talk about healthy masculine, provides structure, it's stability, it's got healthy boundaries, it gives direction, it's more of an action orientated energy. It creates a container so that the feminine can relax. And this shows up in everything, the yin and yang. You can think of it like the masculine are the riverbanks, and the feminine energy is like the river. And so the feminine energy is more about intuition, inner knowing, creativity, compassion. It's the ability to simply be, to rest. It is about birthing the infinite into the world. So a lot of the feminine energy is about things that don't necessarily have structure, but they've got feeling of intuition, of inner knowing. And that combined with a healthy masculine makes things happen in the world. But we need the two. But the distortions where that distorted masculine will push us so hard to overwork. It pushes us to the point of burnout, aggression, competition, chronic doing. And the distorted feminine leaves us feeling really empty. We're constantly chasing validation that we're enough. We don't feel enough inside, so we're looking for things outside. We've been told our value shows up from how we look, how young are we, how much do we give to others, how much do we accomplish or check off our lists. It can have us constantly comparing to others or filling up in some other way, either addictions to shopping, to exercise, to substances, to food, constantly needing to be more and do something to improve who we are because we never feel enough. So neither of these distortions honor our true nature. And most women, like I said, are caught up in both at the same time, the overdoing and overgiving while feeling perpetually empty inside, feeling like too much and not enough at the same time. And it can be really challenging to remember and to tell our nervous systems that we're actually safe, that this is a healthy and safe thing. So, to return to the healthy feminine, we must learn how to receive. We have to learn how to trust ourselves again. And to receive requires a reset of the nervous system. We need to signal safety. We need to ground and discharge that energy and signal safety so that we can expand in what we feel is possible. We can expand into simple things like if I sit down and rest right now, or if I stop before my list is done, if I actually stop before I'm exhausted and need to go to sleep, that it's actually safe. So this is how we shift. We shift the brain's wiring and make pleasure, rest, intuition, inner knowing, enoughness safe again. And this enoughness is the core of it all. Most women that I know feel that their worth is wrapped up in how much they do, how much they give to others, acts of service or achievements, and how they show up for others versus you are enough. You are, no matter what you do, it's not going to take away, or don't do, it's not going to take away from you being enough. So this enoughness can actually only be found within. It's not going to be filled with having the right clothes or having the right house or doing enough for other people, because you are enough right now, just as you are. And I think that there's a term I really love for this, and it's called remembered radiance. Everything I do is about the radiant woman. And the radiant woman, it's not about how great our skin is or what our clothes look like. It's about something that comes from inside, the core of us that knows who we are and knows that we are enough just as we are, and honors and trusts and listens to those inner needs that inner guidance that's telling us what we need moment to moment. And she's always been there. It's beneath all those protective survival layers, the cultural narratives, all the distortions. She's there. We don't need to recreate her. We don't need to do a self-help course to get there. We just need to remember her. This is a saying I love, that women aren't born, they awaken. And it's this idea that what's in you is yours, and that's about being who you are in your core and letting that part shine out. The denial of the feminine has been inevitable. We have inherited it. It has been around. It has literally not been safe to be a woman for thousands of years. It's still not safe to be a woman in many places in the world. And this is something that we learn. There's actually a story of this little dog. So it was a woman, a dog who was pregnant, and she was in. There was a car accident, and she lost her legs when she was pregnant. So she lost access to her legs. So she would have to drag herself around. But she had her puppies, and she weaned her puppies. But when people went back to check on the puppies after a bit to see how they were doing, all the puppies, even though they all had working back legs, they too were dragging themselves around because that's what they saw. And so we've seen this, we've witnessed it, and we have cellular memory for many generations that's telling us this as well, that we need to be a certain way in order to be safe. Through these distortions have been there from watching and absorbing, but they are not the truth of what's possible. So the path backwards means first and foremost just noticing and remembering that this is not how it has to be. And what I'm going to invite you to do is to notice when you find yourself denying some sort of rest, pushing through, wanting to cancel something, but saying, I'm not going to cancel something. Taking care of someone else's needs over your own. And by the way, this doesn't mean we're not going to ever give to anyone else. We're not going to help people and everyone else. It's not binary. If I take care of myself, other people will suffer. If I take care of them, then I suffer. This is part of the distortion. But what's beautiful is that when we take care of ourselves, when we fill up, when we listen, when we honor our needs, not only are we modeling this for future generations and other people, we're going to fill up and come from a place of overflow where it's just natural, a natural byproduct of taking care of ourselves, that we have energy to give. So I always say it's coming from overflow versus overdraft. And so first and foremost, can you stop and notice, wow, I'm being really hard on myself. Wow, I'm first thought when I look in the mirror is one of critiquing or thinking I should look differently. Oh, you know what, I'm really tired right now, but I'm somehow reaching for coffee or sugar to keep going. Whatever it is, just stop and notice. Then reground. Do a nervous system resetting tool. I have a whole list of them on the channel. So go in there, find ones that really have a high payoff for you, where you notice a difference. It can be movement, it can be breath, using your breath. It can be like discharging some of that emotion, whatever it is. Do something to reground, discharge that energy. Don't override it, don't push through. You need to signal safety to your body. You need to signal safety around rest, receiving, pleasure, ease. It is safe to feel all these things. And only then are we able to move forward and to reshift and to rebalance these and return to this state of wholeness, which is what we've been seeking, to fill up from our inside and know the inherent worth that you are. You are so perfect as you are. Not the perfect woman, but perfect as you are. And this remembered radiance. So this is really why I created this channel, to really help you thrive, to reset, to understand yourself, to understand your nervous system, to remember your radiance by giving you the tools to rebalance and to really live from understanding the ecosystem that is you, and to really honor the whole self once again. So if you're interested in this way of working, lots of videos there. I do lots of little bits to help you thrive and understand and rebalance in this way. I run group courses. I work one-to-one with people. So if you're curious, you can leave a comment, book a call with me, just reach out. But just so you know, you are amazing. You deserve ease. You deserve rest, and to know that you are enough just as you are. I'm here to help support you. Wishing you a beautiful day or evening. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.